Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video where we'll be solving a problem where you have to return true if a certain set of parentheses is valid, and you have to return false if it is an invalid parenthesis. So this is a problem statement that is often asked in interviews where specifically your understanding of stacks is checked. It's a very interesting problem. So without any further ado, let's get started and solve this problem. Okay, so as you can see, we have these sort of inputs here and we have to make it pass. So what exactly do we need to do in here? What exactly is the problem statement? So here you can see input one. So your input one is, it has a starting parenthesis and it has a closing parenthesis. This is true. This is a valid parenthesis and we have to return true for this case. For input 2, you have a closing angular closing bracket, then you have a square bracket, then you have a curly bracket, start and close. So it starts and it closes in a certain pattern. But if you look at input 3, then it has a normal bracket, but it has a square bracket close. So this is an invalid parenthesis. It should return false. And same for input 4 as well. So you started the simple bracket, then you went ahead and had started square bracket. So ideally you should close square bracket first and then normal brackets, but it's happening otherwise. So that's also a false. This one is definitely true, um, and this one is false because it's not a valid parenthesis. If you are starting any parenthesis, then you need to close it to consider that that particular parenthesis is a valid one. So if you understood the problem statement correctly, we'll move ahead and solve the problem. So we'll just write a boilerplate for this very quickly. So make sure that when you are facing an interview, when you are kind of solving the interviews, when you're solving a problem in an interviews, then make sure to use like valid and sensible variable names and your function names that actually make sense and makes you look professional. So it will take a string, will take str, and you need to return like something, either true or false per se. Will return true as of now. So that's what we need. Let me just quickly call this function for all these inputs. Valid parenthesis on input 1. So if you will start writing your code before even putting any logic in there, if you are separating out your inputs, if you are separating out where you are calling your function and you are separating out your function definition, and it gives a very good impression to the interview. It really works and you should always try to solve problem like this, always. So we are done with this and we'll start with solving the issue. So basically, what you have to do here is whatever you have in here, let's say if you have a basic understanding of stacks, then what it takes value, then whatever you are inserting, it will put that value after that. So let's say you have this stack here. So if you have pushed 1 in there, and if you are now trying to push 2, it will push 2 after 1. And when you will try to pop refers to when you will try to take an item out of this stack. Stack is basically an array, if you can assume, but it has a kind of a different understanding of it. So if you want to take an item out of a stack, particularly the last item will be popped out first. So 2 will be popped out first, and after that 1 will be popped out, and you will use stack.pop method for that. And for push you use like stack.push. For stack is like whatever your array name is specifically. So we have to use that understanding here and we'll apply that. So particularly what logic we'll be using here. So we have this stack here. So what we'll do, we'll take a map. First of all, we'll make a map. So for every starting bracket there has to be a closing one. For every starting square bracket there will be a closing one, and for every curly bracket there will be this. So we created this map. And now we also need to take a stack, and stack is nothing else than your array. So you take an empty array and you will be pushing and popping things accordingly. So we'll go ahead, we'll see let item of string. String is also iterable, and you should know that. So you can clearly apply this on a string as well. So string and item. So our item for our input 1 is, I will do this so that we just focus on input 1 as of now. So if your item is equals to starting brackets, any sort of starting brackets, doesn't matter if it is a square bracket, doesn't matter if it is a curly bracket. I'm somewhere using double quote, somewhere single quote, but that actually doesn't matter. So what you need to do, you need to push them into your stack. You pushed your item into the stack. So we'll see. So currently for input 1, we'll start with this. It will check, okay, if the item is this, yes, item is this. So it will push this item here. Then it will come back, and now it will check, now this is a closing bracket. So we have to handle the closing bracket separately. So this else part will be any closing bracket. And the if was for any opening bracket. First of all, you will have to check what is before this item. So currently your item is a simple closing bracket. So you have to check what is before this item. So how can we get that? So we can clearly pop the last item from the stack. So pop actually pulls out the last item from our stack. So it will pop out this item from our stack. So we get hold of this item. And now we will go to our map here and we will check what is the value corresponding to this value that we popped out from our stack. So whatever we popped out from our stack, the value is this. So if your current item's value is equals to this, yes, then it's a valid one. Otherwise, if it is not, then you will return false right from there, because you will understand that now the previous bracket that was there in the stack does not align with the closing or the opening bracket of this current item. For example, we will see input 3. So now you will start with this. You will check if the item is this. Yes, item is a simple opening bracket. So you pushed the item in the stack. So this is a stack, you pushed it here. Now you come back here. You come back here. So first of all, you popped the last item. So what is the last item? This one. Now you go to map. You will check what is the value of this. The value of this is a simple closing bracket, but it is not equal to my current item. So this is definitely not a valid parenthesis. So you will return false from there. So we'll write out the logic for that. So if you will first of all pop your item. So you popped the item. What you get? You get a simple opening bracket. Now you go to map. You pass this key to map. Now map will check the opening bracket and it will give you the value which is corresponding to this key. So the key was stack.pop was this opening bracket. It goes here, it gives you value this. If this value is not equals to item, then your parenthesis is not a valid parenthesis and you will return false from there. But if you never hit into this case, you will eventually return true. Then you will know that, okay, now we are done iterating all over the items, but we have not got any exceptional case where the previous opening bracket was not equal to our current item. So I've run this and I'm getting true. Let's check it for input 2. It has to be true. We are done. Input 3 is false. Very correct. Input 4 supposed to be false and it is false. Input 5 was supposed to be true and it is true. Input 6. Input 6 was supposed to be false, but it is true. Why? Let's check. Why? Because now it'll go here, it'll check, okay, if the item is this, yes, I've pushed it into stack. Now let's go here. If the item is this, yes, let's push it into stack. Now it will only return false when it will go to this line. But it never had any closing bracket. It never had any closing bracket. It never went into this else and eventually it returned true. But this case is not right. Now this case, this input is not a valid input. It's not a valid parenthesis rather. So what you have to see, what you have to make sure that instead of here like correctly or instantly returning true from here, you should just check here if you have any length, if your stack has any length, because now your stack has a length of 2. So it is not a valid parenthesis. Your array, your stack has to be completely popped out. So if it has any length, you will return false, otherwise you will return true. And now when you will run this, you're true. So let's double check all the use cases, all the inputs. So first is true, true, false, false, true, and false. So our first 5 inputs are also working fine, and our 6th input is also working fine. I hope you get the idea of it, how to solve the stack problems. I'll be creating a playlist of all the stack problems that are very, very interesting. And I've come across all these stack problems somewhere, sometime in my career when I was interviewing and when I was being interviewed as well. So for both of the cases. So you have to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. So whenever I upload any video on the playlist or per se any video, you get the notifications and you can benefit a lot out of this problem. It will of course help you in cracking any of your front end interview. So I'll see you soon in my next video. Till then, stay safe and bye.